What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Combat Corporation, your source for combat sports. I'm your host, Al the Postmaster Tomorrow, and today I have a gear review on the Venum Serpenti MMA Sparring Gloves. All right, folks, as always, I'm incredibly excited to bring you yet another gear review, as today we enter day 9 of the VENATHON. So I hope you've really enjoyed the series of long-form Venum glove reviews. Today we have a unique pair of gloves. We have the Venum Serpenti MMA Sparring Gloves, or Serpente, however you'd say it. I think it's Serpenti. But these are really cool, and I will give you a disclaimer ahead of time when I was looking it up before actually sitting down to do a review. They are limited stock from what I've seen on the US website. Some of them are even sold out. And I've seen a few of these available on a couple of different vendors in the United States. Otherwise, they're on Venum Asia, Venum Japan. So I hope they bring this back, because I actually did like these gloves quite a bit compared to some other gloves out there that I've tried by Venum. A lot of people asked me to review these when I first got them. They thought these were pretty cool. Some people were saying that these were supposed to be like a mashup with Ilia Topuria, but Ilia actually had his own lineup. Same thing for Khamzat Chimaev. So that's one thing that we have going on here, is that they're definitely unique from themselves. They are definitely borrowing more from like an Asian type of culture, because you can see like you got the different Japanese letterings on there, or I actually don't know what type of letterings those are. I would like to say Japanese. And you have some of the fangs and like the art, like the dragon and stuff from Japanese culture. So I assume it's that. It could be Chinese. I don't want to offend, so I don't know. But they're definitely cool. They are similar to the Venum Impact Evo scales. The only difference that I find is that these are more of like for that skin text leather that it says. I don't even think it says skin text leather. I think it says more or less just like a microfiber leather material or a synthetic leather material is what you have, compared to like the scales texture of the skin text leather that you get from the Venum Impact Evo scales. But with that said, let's go ahead and go into the review itself, and let me tell you exact model that I have today. I got them in the L/XL size. I got them in the black colorway. And of course, because they're in MMA sparring gloves, usually they're only going to come in that hook and loop closure. And that's what we got going on here. You got 3 different sizes you can get for these. You got small, medium, and L/XL. I wish it was 4 separate sizes: small, medium, large, extra large. Because these, just like the Venum Impact Evo scales, I wish were just a little bit bigger for the L/XL size, because I do have rather large hands. And then for the colorways, when I remember, I'd have to look it up again, but I believe there was a blue and gold, red and gold, and a green and gold colorway that you can get with these, but I always went with black and gold, and for me it just kind of has that really cool like epic type design to it, that basic black and gold, but you can see all the reflective material there on the vinyl itself. Really does a good job on kind of showing you how cool the glove looks. It's almost like something hiding in the mist, so I think that's kind of cool. As far as the closure goes, again, it's only hook and loop, as most MMA sparring gloves will be. When we go into the actual look of the glove, we can talk about the back of the glove again. It almost looks like ropes or a dragon serpent type thing going on there. A snake, obviously, is probably what I should be saying, because it's Venum. The rest of the glove is that nice matte black colorway that you got on the back of the punch surface. Same thing here. You got more of that dragon design. Then you have almost like it's coming down through clouds, but it's the Venum fangs that you got going down there. You got the outer jaw there and the fangs going in there. You also have the Venum logo going there. That's not necessarily embossed into the actual vinyl itself. It's more or less screen printed in there. You can actually feel the texture and design going throughout here where the gold fangs are. Not so much here with these designs either. That's more sublimated into the actual vinyl itself. We turn it around here, you can see we got more of that black design, and you also got that awesome gold Venum logo going on there on the thumb. So that looks pretty nice. And then we go back to the wrist strap. You can see here it actually has like a grayish border, but you can see you got a gold Venum snake going on right there. So that looks pretty cool. Over here, again, you got some nice Asian lettering. I'll just say Asian because I really don't know what that means. It didn't say it on the website either when I looked it up. And then over here it says L size XL, telling you exactly what size it is. And that does have nice texture to it, just like the other logos that are on the side. So anything gold on the glove itself actually has a different feel to it, which looks cool and it feels cool. When we open the glove up, you can see here that it is a nice, I call it the butterfly strap, because it kind of opens up wide like this. And you can see here the interior lining is all that black colorway. And there's no like tags on the inside of the glove unless I rip them out, but I don't even see where I would have ripped them out right now. Oh no, I do a little bit. Actually, right there, I ripped them out, sorry. But I believe, like most gloves, it would just have L size XL, and it would show you that, hey, this is a Venum product, basically. So overall, really cool looking glove, but minimal designs on it. Again, I think what's cool is like when you turn it, you can see all those dragons, like, or snakes, whatever it might be, really coming out. Serpente makes sense if it was a snake. You know, I really should just kind of stick to the obvious there, but that's besides the point. I'm always pretty oblivious to the obvious sometimes. What can I say? When we come to the actual build of the glove, we can talk about the outer shell being made out of, most of the time we would call it the skin tax leather, and it does feel very similar to most of the skin tax leather. The only thing is that Venum kind of confuses me with, some of their skin tax leather feels like a nice quality volleyball, some of it feels like actual leather, some of it feels like it's the scaly vinyl texture, different things like that. So I wish they had different names for it, but in this case it's just a vinyl, but it's a smoother vinyl and it feels almost like a man-made suede material. It feels really good and smooth on the back of the hand, and I like that it does that. It feels kind of like the Vylar that you have with Hayabusa's gloves. It's like a lesser version of that suede type fake material, and it's very flexible. You can pull a lot of it off, and it almost has like that neoprene texture to it. Like when you twist it and pull it like this, it's very flexible, which is great for MMA because when you're grinding it on the mat or you're wrestling against the fence or something like that, it's not going to rip apart, and it's very easy to clean and maintain this as well. It almost does feel like it's just a neoprene on the outside. That's very interesting, actually. I've never really put two and two together until I challenging my brain, like, what? How would I describe that to you? It feels like neoprene on the back, so like a man-made suede. That's basically what you got going on here. It's the same thing that you have going throughout the finger parts here, so the finger compartments, and same thing for the thumb too. You have that going on the back of the wrist. You have it on the wrist strap itself. Everything is that really nice vinyl type feel, that really synthetic suede, almost like neoprene feel. Feels really nice. As for the padding, just like the Impact Evo scales, it is an IMF Tech foam or injected molded foam. So basically it's one solid piece of foam, and what they did is they inject a type of gel in it to keep it in its shape and also to protect your knuckles a lot more. A lot of MMA sparring gloves do that. It's just a very easy thing to protect your, got an itch at the base of my nose. It's just a very easy way to really protect your knuckles, and it's also a cost-efficient way to kind of keep everything good. Some people call it ringside foam because ringside made that very popular. That's basically what you got going on here. It's a very thick padding as well. The one thing is that it's softer in this glove because of the outer shell. It's a lot more flexible and allows the glove to breathe a bit more. So compared to the Impact Evo scales, which is a little bit harder and firmer, this is a little bit softer. It's still not the softest. I'd say it's like a medium soft, medium firm, meets right in the middle, but it does break in a little bit easier and it stays broken in. But because it has that big bulky padding, it is a bit more of a top heavy MMA sparring glove, and sometimes you will find that like your wrist will kind of snap down and so will your knuckles a little bit. But in general, it still feels really solid on the back of the knuckles. Protects your knuckles really well because you got about 2 inches of padding, 1.5 inches of padding that separates your knuckles from the target itself, which is always good. When we go over to the thumb of the glove and the palm as well, you can see here that you have, like a lot of other MMA sparring gloves nowadays, that you have individual, individual finger guards, but they are all combined with this bar here so your fingers don't slip out. That allows it to have their individuality to move themselves, but it also keeps it in place so they don't slip out of the actual compartment themselves. A lot of people recommend to do that, and yes, it would make your fingers a bit more free, but they'd also slip out, like what happened with the Pride gloves. A lot of people say Pride gloves are the best gloves on the planet, but thing is, people forget during those fights their fingers slipped out all the time. So that was always a thing. When you come here to the thumb, you have a piece of foam here that kind of protects you there, and it feels like a nice gel padding. Same thing with the Venum Impact Evo scales. And that piping there is very soft, and the rest of the glove is very soft around here as well. We come over to the back of the wrist, and we can talk about a nice piece of EVA foam that goes across the back. And it's a bit softer than most foams that you're going to get, again, because you have that really nice soft outer shell going on here. But it feels really good, and it also hugs the base of of your wrist because of how soft it is. So if I push it out, you can see how it kind of curves in and hugs the base of my wrist well. You also got this wrist strap here, which is a pretty good wrist strap for an MMA sparring glove. And the only thing is, just like the Venum Impact Evo scales, is that the Velcro itself kind of frays. It's pretty strong, but it frays very quickly. It doesn't really take away the strength, which is good. But when I open it up, I always call it the butterfly. Because it kind of represents a butterfly wing. So you have a couple different parts of MMA sparring gloves. This is like the unique design that people try to come up with most of the time. You have this side here where the thumb is, so the thumb's independent of grips, so you have the one butterfly wing. Then you have the other side that straps everything together, so that's the other butterfly wing. So I call it the butterfly right there. Probably the dumbest comparison ever, but this glove itself is separated into 4 different parts. You have the thumb part, you have the base of the wrist part here, you have the other part of the wrist here, which ties everything together. Then you have the door hinge knuckle here that actually allows you to open and close your hand freely. But again, because you have such big bulky padding, see how top heavy that is and how much that smushes down, taking away from the wrist support that you have. Same thing with the Venum Impact Evo scales that I mentioned the other day. The lining on the inside is actually a really nice poly cotton, which is very soft and plush on the back of the hand, very easy to clean, and it doesn't soak in water that well either, which is good. So you want it to be more hydrophobic than anything because you don't want any of the sweat to get in and kind of eat the padding apart. That kind of ruins the glove. But I'll go ahead and I'll strap this on for you so you can see it. Here we go. So when I put the glove on here, it fits very smooth, and it actually kind of balls up that grip bar here so you get a nice solid grip. And all I can say is it fits pretty much identical to the Venum Impact Evo scales. It has that big bulky texture to it, so when you line up a shot, it definitely keeps you nice and protected, but every now and again, because of how top heavy it is, you notice your wrist does kind of curve down a little bit like that. It stabilizes your wrist pretty well, and that nice padding there actually covers the wrist bone. Same thing for the wrist strap, really covers that wrist right there. Feels nice and solid. Grips in this glove, I do think are slightly better than the Impact Evo scales for one reason. It's a bit more of a flexible glove, and your fingers do come out just a little bit more. So I'm able to get somewhat of an S grip. I'm able to get my palm to palm grips a lot easier. And it also feels like it doesn't fit as wide on the side of my palm compared to those. So even if I put this on, you know, just to show you, and I show you in the bag work too, but I'll show you here. You know, getting an S grip is difficult, but I'm able to at least connect my fingers a little bit. Palm to palm grip and gable grip is actually a lot better in these. And getting your butterfly grips or bar grips, whatever you like to call them, is possible in these, and it's actually a little bit of a better grip. On top of it, you know, I just basically say this is an anatomical problem with my pinky now because my pinkies are short. My fingers are short, but they're fat. They wear a size 14 ring if that helps you. But here, my pinky can't close all the way, but that's with almost every other glove I've ever tried. I wish that was maybe just a bit softer, but it's soft nonetheless, so I'm not going to really knock it for that. But here, makes a nice solid fist, really aligns up well. And the rule is with MMA gloves, you take 2 fingers and you can wrap up your hands. I can fit that plenty. So I've wrapped my hands up tight with these gloves plenty of times for sparring as well. On top of it, they're very soft, you know, compared to some other gloves. So they're a little bit more forgiving on your sparring partners, but still not the softest gloves you've ever tried. Overall, they open and close pretty easily. My fingers have pretty good mobility compared to some other gloves, but definitely not the best for an MMA sparring glove because you got the overly bulky padding. But overall, pretty solid support. So with that said, let's go ahead and go into the bag work, then we'll come back with my final thoughts. When it comes to hitting the heavy bag with the Venum Serpenti MMA sparring gloves, they're very similar to the Impact Evo scales. They're very top heavy, and it doesn't make for the well-balanced experience that maybe you'd want in an MMA glove. But in this case, it's very protective over the knuckles, and I will say I do enjoy that it's a bit of a lighter material because it does make the padding feel a little bit softer. The wrist support is still pretty solid in these, and overall, it covers your head pretty well for added defense if that might be something that you want in an MMA sparring glove. But overall, it's very protective. There's some room on the inside for hand wraps if you really want it, but for me, it's still kind of in that range where I wish it was a bigger XL size, as it does kind of fit over the fingers a little bit tighter, but it's not bad. So when it comes to the look with the Venum Serpenti, I think they look outstanding. The grip's very much like the Venum Impact Evo scales, not very great. The most you're going to get is like a halfway decent palm to palm or gable grip. Getting under the neck and underhooks, overhooks, I have had my arms stuck in these a lot. S grips are impossible, but overall, again, Venum with a really cool, simple, but awesome, epic design. Those Japanese letterings on the front, or whatever Asian letterings those would be. The gold sticks out, the serpent sticks out great. I like how the black color stands out. Again, Venum looks awesome. All right, folks, my final verdict here for the Venum Serpenti MMA Sparring Gloves is they're pretty much the same thing as the Venum Impact Evo scales with a different outer shell. And that makes it very easy to talk about as far as that goes. I like them a little bit more because they are a little bit more flexible, breathable, and they, maybe they look a little bit cooler to me. But besides that, they operate virtually the same. They have the same padding, the same design, same curvature. I'd say the grip is a little bit better in these because it doesn't feel as fat on the hand. But in general, it feels pretty identical to the Venum Impact Evo scales. So I think really the only thing I would tell you is that if you really wanted a difference in gloves, those have more of that rough vinyl scales texture to it, whereas this feels more like a fake suede or a neoprene outer shell, which is an interesting feel, but it doesn't soak in fabric like neoprene. With that said, like I do with every other pair of gloves I review, let's go into the things I like about the glove, some of the things I would change about the glove, and then we'll go into my final thoughts. First and foremost, I like that, like everything else that Venum makes with that Skintex leather outer shell, or the just semi-leather, the vinyl, whatever you want to call it, very easy to clean, maintain, and manage. The only thing I could see being a problem with this is that since it is so flexible, I can see this peeling and ripping off like some of the other vinyl gloves I've had from Venum, like the Venum original Impacts actually have vinyl that's peeling off, and I could definitely see that being a problem because it feels very similar to that type of material. I would say this feels a little bit softer and more flexible though, but overall very easy to clean. The interior lining is very easy to dry out and clean, which is always good. All you gotta do is take a disinfecting wipe it down, spray the inside, and you're good to go. The protection of the glove is really good for strikers because there's so much distance between the target and your knuckles itself. So even without hand wraps on, when I hit the bags, I feel really solid protection. And the wrist support's actually pretty good because of that nice piece of EVA foam on the back. Same thing for that wrist strap that locks everything in. Like I said with the Venum Impact Evo scales, which I'll talk about in a second, it is very top heavy, so it does do this, and it could snap your wrist back, but has that happened to me often? No, not really. If you have proper form and proper technique, you'll be good to go. They're also very safe to spar in as far as strikes go, and the grips are just a touch better, but not by much, not enough to like increase it by a point or anything like that. That's the way I would word it. They are about $5 cheaper, so I mean, that's a plus for me. It was like, I think when I first got them, no, these go for $50 and the other ones go for like $65, so they're about $15 cheaper. So that is a bit of a plus for me. I do like that, but is it a big enough change for me to be like, am I going to recommend one versus the other? It's, again, kind of more like, well, do you want the outer shell and spend $15 more? That type of thing, yeah, it's kind of up to you at that point. But in this case, it's a little bit cheaper. The only other drawback I could see with that is that, again, I don't know if they're going to restock these, but a lot of people wanted me to review these, so I am. They are still available on some of Venum's, like, foreign places, and they do look like they're out of stock on the US website. So hopefully, since they didn't take them off and there's still that remind me when they're in stock option, they should restock these and make some new designs. I think they should, because you got the Venum, Impact Evo scales on MMA Sparring Gloves. You got the Venum Contender or Challenger 3.0 MMA Sparring Gloves, which I really like. Those are my favorite ones that Venum makes. But I think it's good to have an option like this because it's different and the outer shell's different, different things like that. Make it cool, is the way I would word it. So I think you've got another option. As far as the drawbacks go, very similar to the Impact Evo scales. Grappling is not great in these gloves. Getting anything like an S grip is just not a solid option at all. Your palm-to-palm grips, gable grips are a little bit better, but still not great. Getting it on a double leg or a single leg is still not all that great because of how big and bulky they are. So going under the neck, through the arm is a pain. Right now it's even getting caught on my shirt. So that's definitely something that you got to deal with when it comes to the grappling aspect of this glove. It does not offer the best grappling options is the way I would word it. So if you're looking for a glove that's more for striking sparring, definitely a good option for you. As far as keeping your sparring partner safe, good option, but for me, as far as the actual overall grappling aspect of the glove goes, just about as good or bad, I should say, as the Venum Impact Evo scales. And I do think the price that you get it for is a pretty solid price point, actually, like the Venum Impact Evo scales. I think is right on the money with that. I think $50 for something like this is pretty good. Keep it there, and I would pay for it again. But there are some other options around the same price that I think you could start to compete with. Like I still think Combat Sports Max Strike for $60 off Amazon is better than these. Stuff like that is the way I would word it. And that's basically what you're kind of looking for or working with when it comes to these gloves. Now, when it comes to the final rating on these, again, this was a really easy to review because it's virtually just the Venum Impact Evo scales, which I just reviewed, only with a different outer shell. I'm going to give it the same rating. I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10 with a B tier for a good glove. It gets the job done. Everything's staying in pretty good shape. It's not falling apart on me. It's a little bit softer, and it's just about as easy as to clean. I don't think it will be as durable because you have more of a flexible outer shell, and overall it looks pretty cool, like everything else that Venum does. But for me, I don't see it being a world of difference from the Venum Impact Evo scales. It grapples just about the same, protects my knuckles the same. It's just as safe as those. It's not as good in the grappling department as it is the striking department. It's much more of a striker's glove, as most MMA sparring gloves by Venum are. Even the Challenger 3.0, which I really do like those gloves, is more of a striker glove than it is a grappling glove. So in my opinion, it's a pretty solid option for like that $50 price point. If they started pushing it up towards like the 60 to 65, I'd say at that point, what's going to make the difference in price, I guess. That's my big question. Like if you were going to do the Venum Impact Evo scales, but go for about 60, 65, compared to these, and they do the same thing, they just have a different outer shell, then why are they the same price? They do that with another glove, which I'm going to review next, actually, the Undisputed 2.0. One's skin text leather, one's actual leather, and they're the same exact price at like $84.99. So why? I don't know, because leather's more expensive than skin text leather. So what are we doing? That's, the questions I start to ask. But overall, pretty solid glove. I had fun using them. Will I use them all the time? Probably not, but I still like them. So with that said, guys, I hope I answered all your questions on the Venum Serpenti MMA sparring gloves. We are nearing the end of our VENATHON, so we only have 3 days left, and the last 3 gloves I'm going to show are more of like their pro level MMA and boxing gloves, and I hope you guys are excited about those. There's one glove that I didn't do any of the break-in videos for because I've had them for so long and they were a limited edition, but I'm debating on making it a day 13 of the VENATHON or doing it down the line, and I'll show you that as we go through. So comment below if you're interested in seeing that. If I answered all your questions about these gloves, great. If I didn't, please comment below and let me know. And as always, like and subscribe, as it goes a long way to helping the channel. And of course, hit the notification bell for the VENATHON updated video that comes out tomorrow. As always, I really appreciate all of your support, folks, and I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day, everybody.